Yo, yo, yo. This week on the X-Factor Sportz Podcast, the Las Vegas Aces start a dynasty, the new dynasty in the WNBA. We got college football parlays, and I'm giving y'all the top NFL contenders and pretenders as we get close to the midseason of the NFL. Keep it locked right here. Episode 104 of the X-Factor Sportz Podcast starts right now. Yo, this your boy Jay Mondane of the X-Factor Sportz Podcast, Season 9, Episode 8 of the X-Factor Sportz Podcast, Episode 104. We are tonight live on YouTube. We are on Twitch. We are on Facebook. And we are on TikTok Live this evening. We got a great show for y'all lined up. Glad y'all can come in. Be sure to like, share, and subscribe to the X-Factor Sportz Podcast. Catch us every week, and you can listen to it on all audio platforms. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get started. We're going to get into this quick news, all right? So start with this. Major League Baseball, right? We have the NLCS, the ALCS, both road teams took the first two games, which is crazy. The Mariners and the Blue Jays are playing right now in Seattle. Mariners up 2-0 on the Blue Jays. Didn't suspect that. If y'all remember, a couple weeks ago, I gave y'all my playoff predictions. I had the Blue Jays against the Phillies in the World Series. Looked like that ain't going to happen because the Phillies got taken care of. And the Blue Jays are in trouble and possibly can go down 0-3. But we'll see. That game's going on, like I said, right now. Tomorrow, you got game 3 of the NLCS, where the Dodgers took 2 from the Brewers in Milwaukee, so they're coming back to LA to see if they can close that out. Now, I don't know if it's championship medal. I don't know what it is about the Dodgers. These guys woke up, but they just look good. Like they're beating everybody pretty soundly. Don't look like they're having trouble at all in these playoff series, which is scary for everybody else. But they're up 0-2, looking to take a commanding 3-0 lead tomorrow in LA. All right. So now let's move to NHL in the quick news. NHL has started. If you know anything about hockey, the season is very similar to the NBA. They start a couple weeks ahead. The NBA is in the preseason. NHL is alive and kicking right now. They've already started. But the quick news I wanted to talk about is Alexander Ovechkin. All right, already cemented, living legend, Hall of Famer. Broke Wayne Gretzky's record for goals scored last season. But this is the last year of his contract. So are we looking at a swan song? Are we looking at a final season for Alexander Ovechkin? Storied career. Brought the Washington Capitals their one and only Stanley Cup, one of the greatest players to ever play. I feel like he should be celebrated. I think this is like season 21, 22 for him. And he's still playing at a high level, still great leader. So it'd be great to see what Washington can do. Like I said, last year of his deal, maybe Washington can get to a playoff or make a run, make the season interesting. But something to look for in the NHL season, make it exciting. My Blackhawks ain't going to be good, but Connor Bedard will probably be better. So I got to find something that's exciting to follow along with for these 82 games. And the story will be, for me, Alexander Ovechkin. Will he retire? Will he not? Last season, how many more records can this dude break? So on and so forth. All right. And then last thing in the quick news, NCAA football, right? We're going to talk about NCAA football later because we got a parlay that we got to get to. But James Franklin was fired on Sunday from Penn State. I mean, damn. Like, just 3 weeks ago, we had them winning the whiteout game against Oregon in the Bet That segment. And fast forward to today, this dude's out of a job. And frankly, no pun intended, he deserved to lose his job. It was time. And for those of you who don't follow college football or who kind of peek in and peek out, don't follow the Big Ten as much as I do, it was time. I mean, now these schools, these universities, they have to kind of think ahead, right? What I mean by that is, first of all, James Franklin wasn't winning any big games. That's the loudest kept secret, right? He couldn't win any big games. That whiteout game was another indictment on him. That game that he was favored to win, couldn't get it done. Anytime they have a big game against Big Ten teams, he can't win those games. They had national championship aspirations, and it's almost like the clock started ticking as soon as they lost that game to Oregon, because you lose 3 games, your national championship aspirations are out the window. I know we got an expanded college football playoff, but as good as these teams are, you can't lose 3 games. Back in the day, you couldn't lose 1. But the way it's set up now, you can probably lose 2 and still get in and still win a national championship, tournament style. But 3 won't even get you into the bracket. So with that being said, with these upsetting, disappointing losses 3 in a row, they have to let them go. The Big Ten Conference is becoming the best conference in football. So if you're looking ahead, you got USC, who's always going to be good, Oregon now, you got Ohio State, of course, Michigan, you got Illinois is even good this year, right? You got Indiana, who that coach might take that job next year. We'll have to stay tuned on that. But you have all of these teams that are getting better in his conference, and he can't get over the hump. So they're looking ahead like, how many more years are we going to spend hoping this guy gets us to the promised land, right? And I don't think his buyout is that much either. So they figure we'll cut our losses, give him his buyout, which ain't that much, let the lead assistant take the job as the interim, and then we ride this thing out, and then we go pluck either Matt Rule from Nebraska or the coach from Indiana or somewhere in the conference, or a big name and up-and-coming guy that's winning a lot of games, and let them rock out. So y'all let me know what y'all think. Was this firing a good thing? Was it long overdue, or did it happen just at the right time? Y'all let me know. All right. Now, again, the X-Factor Sportz Podcast. You can always catch us on YouTube. You can catch us anywhere on social media for the reels. Tonight we're doing a special episode. We are live on TikTok. We are live on Facebook and Twitch. But normally you got to subscribe to the YouTube channel to get all the episodes every Wednesday night. All right. So let's dive in. We're going to talk about the Las Vegas Aces and A'ja Wilson. Okay. What they did last week was cement another dynasty in the WNBA. This is the last dynasty we've had since Maya Moore and the Minnesota Lynx. It's the last time we had a dynasty to speak on. Okay. Hold on. Let's see what we got going on here. Okay. But that's the last dynasty that we've been able to speak on, was the Minnesota Lynx and Maya Moore. They had a San Antonio Spurs type dynasty. They won every other year. They won in 2011, 13, 15, and 17. So she got 4 before she got up out of here and retired. One of the greatest players ever. So the Minnesota Lynx did that, and now we are at the birth of a new dynasty with the Vegas Aces, A'ja Wilson, Becky Hammon leading the way. Before I get into A'ja Wilson, though, let's give a shout out and a congratulations to Becky Hammon. She was a longtime assistant for the San Antonio Spurs. There was rumors that she may even become the first woman NBA head coach. And then there was other whisperings like maybe she hadn't earned her stripes yet. She hasn't coached or led a team on her own. She's been under Greg Popovich. Let her go to the WNBA and let's see what happens. All right, so now fast forward. She's been coaching for 4 years in the WNBA. And she has 3 WNBA championships in 4 years. They didn't win last year. They went back-to-back, 22-23, and then lost in the semifinal, and then won this year. So she has never not been in at least the semifinal in the WNBA playoffs as a head coach. So shout out to Becky Hammon, righting the ship, getting these women to play the best basketball you could ever play. And this year was not an easy year, right? Y'all probably seen the articles or heard about it. At one point, they were 12-14, like they were under 500. And it was almost like a crossroads moment for this team. And then their leader, A'ja Wilson, put her flag in the ground and said, listen, what do y'all want to do? What do we want to be remembered as? We're not going out like this. And then the rest is history. They took off, went on a historic run. If you wasn't paying attention, this was a historic run. They were not favored to win. We here at the X-Factor Sportz Podcast did predict the Las Vegas Aces to win the WNBA championship once the playoffs started. You can go back and check the tape. But they had to go on a historic run to get in the playoffs and get the seed they got and dominate and continue on. So congratulations to Becky Hammon and that team and the Las Vegas Aces. Now, A'ja Wilson, okay? We have to start having a real conversation about, is she one of the greatest basketball players ever? Okay? She has been in the league. She's 29 years old. I want to just make sure y'all are clear on this. Women's basketball, they have to go to college for 4 years before they can become pros. So she was 22 years old when she came into the W. She is 29 years old now. Okay? I'm going to run down her accolades since she's been in the WNBA. She is a 3-time WNBA champion now. She is a 2-time WNBA Finals MVP, a 4-time league MVP, which has never happened. She just completed that this season. And she's a 3-time Defensive Player of the Year, a 7-time All-Star, a 5-time First-Team All-WNBA, a 4-time All-W First-Team Defense, a 2-time W Peak Performer, a 2-time scoring champ, and a 5-time blocks leader. This is a woman that is playing center for her team. She leads them in blocks. She leads them in points. She leads them in rebounds. She's the best defensive player. She's the best leader. She's the best winner. I know y'all seen that Nike commercial with all her damn trophies behind her in the bleachers. She got to add more to the bleachers after this season. But the conversation has to be had. This run that she is on since she started her professional career is Bill Russell-esque. When we talk about dominance, she is winning at a clip that has not been seen. I mean, damn, maybe Magic. Magic went to 9 finals in 13 seasons, won 5. Every championship A'ja Wilson's been to, she's won it, right? She's in the midst of a dynasty. They have created a dynasty as we speak. She is by far the best basketball player in the world. Nafisha Collier was making a case for it this year, and A'ja was like, nah, it's still me. I'm in my prime. So we talked about it a couple episodes ago, like, how is the WNBA doing such a poor job celebrating the greatness that is literally in their league in Las Vegas, Nevada, right? Could be one of the biggest cities for women's basketball. You got gambling, you got boxing, you got everything happens in Vegas. And you have literally the best player in the world in the midst of a dynasty, and we can't find a way to promote this league or these women. So the dominance that she's on in this run, it is a Bill Russell-esque run. Again, back in the day with the Boston Celtics, as soon as Bill Russell got to Boston, they started winning championships. They did not win a lot of championships. Let me back up. They did not win any championships with just Bob Cousy. It was when Bill Russell came, they became dynastic, right? Red Auerbach was there already. So in this situation, obviously Becky Hammon comes in to help A'ja Wilson get over the hump. But when we talk about the player, the run that she is on, the run of dominance, and the winning and the accolades, they're all deserved. There's no voter fatigue. She earned the MVP this year because they were not good. So you take her off that team, they don't make the playoffs. She was the definition of valuable this season. So I say all that to say this. When we talk about the history of women's basketball, I don't believe A'ja Wilson is the greatest basketball player ever yet. I still have Maya Moore ahead of her. I still got Diana Taurasi ahead of her. She might have caught Sue Bird, but there's some players that I got ahead of her just because DT, her longevity, everything she did overseas, you got to put the whole career together. And nobody won or played or did as much as DT, Diana Taurasi. So in Maya Moore, just sheer dominance. She put fear in women's hearts when she played. So what I'm saying is this, A'ja Wilson is on the trajectory to be the greatest women's basketball player we've ever seen. And she can probably eclipse that here in the next 5 years. If we being real, she can go into season 12 being the best player ever and still be playing at this clip. She's just getting into her prime. She's 29 years old. She's young. She's only getting better. Her jump shot's getting better. Her ball handling's getting better. She got an NBA player as a boyfriend. You think ain't none of his game rubbing off on her? Like, everything is in place for A'ja Wilson to literally cement herself as the greatest player to ever play in the W while she's still playing in her prime. Anytime we talked about other players, we talked about Maya Moore, it was after she was done. We were like, yes, she's arguably the greatest player ever. When Diana Taurasi was on her way out. We've never had a person since the inception of the WNBA with Cynthia Cooper when they won 4 straight Houston Comets. Since then, we have not had a player doing this at this level and saying she can be the greatest player ever in her prime and still winning. So if they keep this team together, if they keep Becky Hammon employed there and don't let the NBA steal her, A'ja Wilson can be literally in 2028, we can be talking about she's the greatest basketball player ever. She gets another gold medal in the Olympics by the end. She wins a couple more titles. Like, she's at 3. So if she gets to 4 or 5 titles, which nobody has in the W, if she gets to 5 titles, we got to have some uncomfortable conversations with Diana Taurasi and Maya Moore fans, because you can't deny the dominance that she has over this league at this age and at this stage of her career, only in year 8, right? So congratulations to A'ja Wilson, the birth of a new dynasty, the best player in the league by far. And there's a lot of great players in the league, but she is the best of the best. So congrats to the Vegas Aces. All right. The X-Factor Sports Podcast. You can always catch us every Wednesday night on YouTube. Be sure to like, share, and subscribe and follow the X-Factor Sports Podcast. This is a special episode. I just popped up on TikTok Live, Facebook Live, and Twitch just to get everybody to join on YouTube. You got to subscribe. You get all of the episodes. We're on episode 104. You get all the reels, the shorts. You get all the clips, the behind the scenes, all the things you want to know about the X-Factor Sports Podcast. Subscribe on YouTube. Or if you don't like watching it and you're busy, like my bro, he do it at home in Chicago. He typically listens to the X-Factor Sports Podcast. My brother Jason, he usually listens to the X-Factor Sports Podcast when he's at work. Like, he knows that we're live on Wednesday, but he like, Jay, I'm going to just wait till Thursday because I know it's going to be on Spotify, and then I can just listen to it while I get to work. So whatever your preference is, you can catch the X-Factor Sports Podcast any way you like. So appreciate y'all. Again, shout out to everybody that's on TikTok Live. Appreciate y'all. Again, subscribe on YouTube. We're going to pop these up every once in a while, but I'm glad you're in tonight. So, all right. Now let's get into it. Let's get into why y'all came. I know y'all want to find out. At this point of the NFL season, we're almost midway through. So who are the contenders and who are the pretenders going into week 7 of the NFL season? All right. I got the 5 best teams, or the 5 teams that are contending and the 5 teams that are pretending. Some of these teams, y'all going to be like, why does he have them here and not these teams? For example, I don't have like the Philadelphia Eagles, the Kansas City Chiefs on this list because we already know what they are, right? They're not sneaking up on anybody. Like the record that they have now, we know they're going to be there in the end. We know they're going to be in the playoffs. So this isn't that type of list. This is for teams where we're trying to figure out if they actually can contend and be in the playoffs and be a good, formidable team come December. And then on the pretender side, we're not going to do the New York Jets or the Saints. We already know they trash. So we're not going to talk about them being pretenders. They are who they are. So it goes both ways. So with that being said, we're going to get into who I think are the 5 contenders as of right now. All right. So the Indianapolis Colts, I think they're for real. Again, a lot of these teams that we have on here, their schedule is going to help. But I'm also looking at style of play. I'm also looking at point differential. I'm looking at when they go into other stadiums and play on the road, how they play. And the Indianapolis Colts has to be at the top of the list for surprise contenders, right? Coming into week 7, nobody could have guessed they would be 5-1. Hell, Daniel Jones couldn't have thought that. You know, maybe they're doing it for Jim Irsay, rest in peace. His daughter is the new owner. She's down on the field. Maybe they got to tighten up for her. I don't know what it is. But Daniel Jones looks like a reincarnation of a young Peyton Manning once he started figuring it out. And we're going to pump the brakes. He ain't Super Bowl Peyton Manning. But if you look back, Peyton Manning, his first year in Indianapolis, he led the league in interceptions. He had like 28 interceptions his rookie year. They were awful. But by year 3 and 4, he started taking ownership of that offense. You go look at the Indianapolis Colts in 2000, 2001, they started competing and being good because of his growth. This is what Daniel Jones is looking like. Daniel Jones is in year 5, year 6, I think, and a team believes in him, and he got these boys playing. And then you got Jonathan Taylor, right? Young Marshall Faulk maybe. But when he's healthy, he's one of the best running backs in football. He's leading the league in rushing now. And with that attack, they got a great offensive line. They're winning games. Their point differential is plus 78. So it ain't a fluke. They beating teams down, right? So shout out to the Indianapolis Colts. They are a complete team. This quarterback is an MVP candidate legitimately for the first 6 weeks. They're balanced. I like the way they play football right now. So the Indianapolis Colts are a contender. Then obviously, for those of you watching on YouTube and Facebook can see the list on TikTok, I'll just run it down for y'all in Twitch. Number 1 is the Indianapolis Colts. Number 2 is the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Number 3 are the Detroit Lions. Number 4, the Buffalo Bills. And number 5, the LA Chargers. All right. I just talked to y'all about why I think the Colts should be one of the contenders to worry about. Number 2, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. The Bucs have the league MVP right now as we speak, right? He is playing the best football he's ever played. Even when he won the damn Heisman in college, he didn't play this good. The team believes in him. They have his personality. And last week they won a game against San Francisco, who's a good team. And he was down 4 receivers, and it did not matter, right? Well, the way Baker Mayfield is playing ball, you got to tip the hat to him. There's no surprise that the 2 quarterbacks I started off this segment with are quarterbacks that were disregarded, and they are making a comeback. If you look at this list, honestly, the top 3 quarterbacks or the top 3 teams on this list, the quarterbacks were essentially disregarded and rejuvenated, resurrected at a new place. But the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, man, no matter what happens, Chris Godwin out, Mike Evans out, and Digba out, no problem. Bucky Irvin out, no problem. They just keep winning games. They have a plus minus of plus 60, so they beating the hell out of teams. The only game they lost was to Philly, right? The defending Super Bowl champs. They taking care of everybody else. Even when in close games, they're finding ways to win. Obviously, you know their defense is going to be good with their head coach. And with this veteran group, again, a lot of these players are players that won a Super Bowl. So it ain't sweet in Tampa Bay. Let's not forget, it was only 5 years ago. So a lot of these guys were young when they won a Super Bowl with Brady. The Mike Evans or Chris Godwins of the world, right? The guys on the defensive side, Winfield, all those dudes. The Vita Vedas, like they have championship pedigree. So does the coaching staff. So you plug in Baker, these guys feel like they can win. And they're showing that right now. So they are a contender in the NFC for sure. Number 3 is the Detroit Lions. Again, 4-2. They just lost a tough game against the Chiefs on Sunday night, a game where the Chiefs did not commit any penalties. Interesting. But anyway, the Detroit Lions at 4-2, I got them as contenders. All right. They still have a plus minus a plus 40. They play tough football. I've been saying this all season. I thought that they were going to slide because they lost Aaron Glenn and they lost Ben Johnson, offense and defensive coordinators. Doesn't matter. They still find a way to win games. They're tough, physical. I think Aiden Hutchinson coming back is a shot in the arm. I didn't know how long that dude was going to be out, but he came back and he doesn't even look like he was injured. So they forced turnovers on defense. When you got a team like the Detroit Lions, who average 30 points a game, when your defense can force turnovers as well, you are a contender against anybody. They can go into any stadium and compete. So because of that, I got these guys as contenders. At number 4, again, another team that kind of dipped, took a slide, whatever you want to call it, lost a game in Atlanta on Monday night, Buffalo Bills. They cost me the confidence pool too. If they'd have won, I'd have won my confidence pool. But it's all good. Buffalo Bills, 4-2, still got a good plus minus. They're plus 30, so they've been winning their games convincingly. They lost to the New England Patriots. Divisional game. Those games are always tough. Those teams know you better than anybody else. Young Drake May, they are on the come up as well, but we'll pump the brakes on them. But the Buffalo Bills, still reigning MVP in Josh Allen. They will win the AFC East. I'll be very surprised if they don't. And so if they win the AFC East and they get the 1 seed and the path has to go through Orchard Park, it's tough sledding for everybody that has to go through there and try to get them. So I got the Buffalo Bills sitting at 4. And then number 5, the LA Chargers. I know a lot of people going to say the Chargers going to charge them. Hell, I've even said it this season already. But I feel like what the Chargers have going on, what Jim Harbaugh has going on, the belief they have in their offense is starting to show. The defense is getting healthy. And I think they're shoring up these mistakes. September felt like it was preseason almost to them still, and they were trying to figure it out. So Justin Herbert starting to figure it out some more. I like this roster. They got a nice quick win on the Chiefs, which is good because if it gets into a tiebreak situation, you already won 1 game on them. So I think they contend this year. Do they win a Super Bowl? No. Do they get to the playoffs? Yes. I believe 3 teams can probably get to the playoffs in the AFC West, but I got them for sure as the other team other than the Chiefs getting in. So give me the Chargers as a contender. So those are my 5 contenders: the Colts, the Bucks, the Tampa Bay. I got Tampa Bay, Detroit, the Bills, and the LA Chargers. All right. Now let's get to the pretenders. These teams that they have decent records, even good records, but they're not going to do nothing. All right. We get back to when we get into week 8, week 9, in a couple weeks, I'm going to do my power rankings. These teams may not even be on them. Right. I think they started off good, but in the end, once we get to Thanksgiving, that's when we find out who's really real. And I don't think these teams are really going to be that real. So for those on TikTok watching, the list goes with the pretenders: the Denver Broncos, the New England Patriots, San Francisco 49ers, Jacksonville, and the Dallas Cowboys. All right. I'm going to dive into why. So the first one we got is the Denver Broncos. Now, I just praised them, said they may be one of the teams in AFC West that get in, But I think it's fool's gold. Okay. They won a nail biter against the 0-5 Jets in London. They can't move the ball down the field. I know they're 4-2. They rely way too much on their defense. Their defense is on the field all the time. Bo Nix, I talked about at the beginning of the season. I don't know if he'll have a sophomore slump. He may have a C.J. Stroud type sophomore year, where C.J. Stroud wasn't terrible, but he wasn't nearly as good as he was his rookie year. If they get into shootouts, which a lot of these AFC teams are about that, I don't know if Denver's good enough to win shootouts. Yes, they have an impressive win over Philly, but then they damn near laid an egg against the Jets. So just too inconsistent. The offense doesn't move. The defense has to have a great day every day for them to have a chance to win. So because of that, I don't think it's sustainable, this 4-2 record. I don't think it's sustainable. So I think they pretended. The same thing goes for the New England Patriots. At 4-2, that record is inflated. They beat Buffalo, but they haven't really beat anybody else that's good. And they're in a division where they get the Dolphins twice and the Jets twice. So they should win all 4 of those, at least 3 out of 4. So that's going to help the record. But if you ask me about where I see them going long term, I just don't think they have the talent. Mike Vrabel's a good coach, but you can only coach with what you have. You can only elevate them so much in the NFL. So their schedule, because of how terrible they were last year, is going to help because they're playing a last place schedule. But all in all, I think they're pretenders. I think when it gets to Thanksgiving, this is going to be one of those teams come Thanksgiving, we're going to see where they are. And I think they just don't have the talent to contend yet. All right. Number 3, I got the San Francisco 49ers. Again, they are always hurt. They should be called the San Francisco Infirmaries. Every week is somebody else. Brock Purdy can't get on the field. Mac Jones is taped and rubber band together to play in these games. I watched him, I don't know if it was a Thursday night game or something, but he got laid out. Mac Jones, I'm talking about. He got laid out and went to the sideline, and he looked like he couldn't even get up. And it was like coaches had to come to his rescue, not to his rescue, but they had to get in his ear and say, we need you to play. We have no one else. And he literally is dragging his body on the field to play. So shout out to Mac Jones for his heroics, but that's not sustainable, right? They pretending. It's not sustainable for Mac Jones to be 80% going out there and playing because Brock Purdy is 40%, right? Everybody's hurt. Christian McCaffrey, surprisingly, is the healthiest person on the team, right? They really miss Deebo Samuel because now he's as healthy as it gets over in Washington. And again, they're in a tough division. The Rams are good. The Seahawks are good. If Arizona can get their stuff together, they can be decent, but they won't. And the NFC is the better division or the better conference. So don't get it twisted, AFC fans. The NFC is the better conference this year, all right? And because the 49ers are playing in that conference, they're pretending. I don't think they got anything going on. They lost a tough game to Tampa Bay, but Tampa Bay had nobody healthy, and they still won that game. Pretty convincingly, too. So, again, against the top-tier teams, I just don't see San Francisco having it. They're going to have to beat the bottom-tier teams. They got a pretty favorable schedule because they were bad last year. So they'll beat up on the teams they should. But you get to top tier, they're pretending. Number 4, Jacksonville Jaguars. Again, Jacksonville's playing good football in the beginning. They start off good. They got a nice win against the Chiefs. The Chiefs always, and I was telling my boy JJ and his wife, Michelle, that when they played, the Chiefs always struggle with Jacksonville. I don't know why. Home or away, it's always a tight game. But the Chiefs typically win it in the end. They typically chip away and get a victory. But this time they didn't, right? Trevor Lawrence had the greatest drive of his career to date, and they won the game. Salute to him. But as far as we talking holistically for a season, they pretending, man. 4-2 right now. They got some good pieces. I just overheard today they're going to try to get some more offensive snaps for Travis Hunter, get him on that side of the ball. Cool. But I like their defense. I really like their defense. They're a warm weather team, though. And when we get into the cold months and they got to go play against these teams on the road, can Trevor Lawrence sustain playing good football for 10 weeks, 12 weeks, 14 weeks, right? He's not done this before in his career. He was good in college, but in college you play 12 games. And since he's been in the pros, when we get to week 13, week 14, I don't know if his stamina goes away, his energy, I don't know what it is. I'm not going to knock a professional athlete's conditioning, but something happens to him and that team when we get closer, when we get over halfway through the season, and we're getting to that point. So because of that, with a rookie head coach, I got them at 4-2, but they're pretenders. And then last but not least, the Dallas Cowboys. Again, they're going to always be in the news because they're the Dallas Cowboys. Jerry Jones is always going to sell his fans on how good they're going to be. And Dak Prescott is going to put up great numbers because they pass the ball 40 times a game. But again, when they play against good teams, the same thing happens all the time. And even in years past, they've been pretenders for 25 years. For my viewers that are not old enough to remember, the Dallas Cowboys actually used to be good. In the 90s, they had a dynasty. We were talking about dynasties in the first segment with the Vegas Aces. That's the type of dynasty the Cowboys were. They won back-to-back, skipped a year, won again. They had great players, Hall of Famers, all this stuff. Great coaching. But for my viewers that are 30 years old and younger, this is what you know about the Cowboys, right? They give you some flashes. They have good games. You see We Dem Boys on social media every week. But then once Thanksgiving comes, the real Cowboys show up. They lose games. They may even get in the playoffs, but they'll lose a home playoff game, right? Hopefully Dak doesn't get hurt, knock on wood. CeeDee Lamb's already out, right? Something will happen in their locker room. Jerry Jones will say something crazy. All these things will happen. So it's just cyclical for them. So just give it time. But again, I got them as pretenders. They already got a tie with Green Bay. So they're 2-3-1, I think it is. Lost the game to Carolina over the weekend. Rico Dowdle even called them out during the week. Old running back for the Cowboys called them out. Said, y'all better bring y'all gear, strap up. And they ended up beating them. So losing to the Carolina Panthers, when y'all talk about how good the Cowboys supposed to be, I can't take them serious, so I got them as pretenders. All right, so there's the list. We got the pretenders are the Broncos, Patriots, the 49ers, Jacksonville, and the Cowboys. Over here on the chat, on TikTok, what we got? We got should have traded Garrett for Pickens. Nah, I mean, probably should have, but this is what we got now, so we can't change what it is. But those are my contenders and pretenders. Y'all let me know what y'all think. Again, comment below. Let me know if some other team should be on here. I know some people say the Packers are contenders. I need to see it again. Jordan Love is kind of like a Trevor Lawrence to me. I need to see it for weeks and weeks and weeks. I need consistency. I need him to be healthy. Ain't seen it yet. Need to see it more. So that's where we're at. All right. The X-Factor Sportz Podcast is live on YouTube every Wednesday night. Be sure to like, share, subscribe. Be sure to follow. Tell everybody. X-Factor Sportz Podcast every week. Real talk, unbiased takes. We're past 100 episodes in. Best quality, best sports talk, and we don't fluff at all. All right, so check us out. Okay, now, for all my bettors out there, we got this segment for y'all. We bring this in every once in a while throughout the season. The reason we're doing it this year or this week is because we got a great slate of college football. We got 5 games. All the teams are ranked. Big time playoff implications coming up. So we're doing a 5-leg parlay for this segment to bet that. So let's go ahead and dive into it. The first leg, we got LSU going to Vanderbilt, number 10 LSU, to number 17 Vanderbilt. All right. The spread is 2.5 for Vandy. I'm going to say go ahead and take Vandy to cover that spread. They should win by at least a field goal. Coming off a bye. Vandy's played really good at home. Really good team this year. It's an early game. I got Vanderbilt winning this game in Nashville. Again, they play physical at home. I think they got the matchup. I think this is going to be, it necessarily ain't really a trap game for LSU, even though they're the number 10 team. Vanderbilt's just really good this year. They've proven that they can play. They can play with the top tier teams in the SEC. So the lines open up at 3.5. I think it's at 2.5 now. So give me Vanderbilt in this early game. And as long as they ain't playing that night in Death Valley, which they're not, I'm going to take Vandy over LSU. Give me the 2.5. The next one, we got Georgia and Ole Miss. Again, another ranked game. Number 5, Ole Miss, undefeated, going to Georgia, number 9. Georgia's the 6.5-point favorite. And I'm taking Georgia to give Ole Miss their first loss. Again, Ole Miss, high-powered offense, been surprising some teams this year, been playing good football, but the reason Georgia is a high favor, anywhere between 6.5 and 7.5 right now, I think I got them. I clocked them in at 6.5. And Georgia at home, they're just tough to beat unless you're Alabama. But everybody else, it's hard to come in there and get a win. I will be surprised if Lane Kiffin can get in there and get one. So I'm taking Georgia at home. I think the line of scrimmage is going to be controlled by them. I think they win by a touchdown. So give me Georgia as the favorite and give me the 6.5 against Ole Miss. The third one we got, again, a lot of SEC going on this weekend, but it's a lot of ranked teams in the SEC. So number 11, Tennessee goes to number 7, Alabama. Alabama and Kalen DeBoer, they may be turning in a good way, in a positive way. 7.5-point favorites. This is a big spread, okay? I usually don't do spreads in college football, but I felt a little frisky this week, so I figured I'd do it. You can ask anybody that knows me. I'm always talking about F them kids in college. They might have broke up with their girlfriend on Friday night. Anything could happen to these kids, so I don't like taking spreads. I usually do over-unders and money lines, but this week I'm feeling good, so I'm taking some spreads. I'm taking Alabama a big spread, 7.5, to make a statement against Tennessee. It's going to be a night game. I think it's at 6:30 on ABC, but Vegas had them at 8.5. And so it went down to 7.5. I'm going to take Bama and the spread, 7 and a hook. Even though Nick Saban is long gone, Alabama still looks good in Tuscaloosa Saturday night. Give me Alabama over Tennessee. Then here we go. Now we got some over-unders. The fourth leg, we got USC number 20 going to Notre Dame number 13. They play this game every year. It's usually a shootout. So the over-under is 61.5. Give me the over. All right. I think both of these teams, Lincoln Riley, I think they can score over 30 points apiece. I'm saying this, and it might be a defensive battle, but I'm going to take the over on this one. Give me the 61.5. I got this going over. Don't know who's going to win the game. Again, this is a rivalry game because they play every year, but I'm going to take the over. Last but not least, Utah at BYU. All right, the battle of the state of Utah. And this is a night game. Utah's defense alone should stand up in this game. They've been a good defensive team for the last 3-4 years. They're 3.5-point favorites on the road for a reason. I think this defense shows up and shows out against BYU. Even though they're ranked 23rd, they're about to move up in the rankings. Give me Utah beating BYU on the road in this rivalry game. All right. So there you have it. There's your bet that. There's your 5-leg parlay. We got Vanderbilt 2.5 over LSU. We got Georgia 6 and a hook over Ole Miss at home. We got Alabama over Tennessee at 7.5. And we got take the over on this USC Notre Dame shootout. And then we got Utah and BYU. I'm taking Utah in 3.5. Give me the spread on that. All right. Again, this is not a gambling site, but we love to do Bet That. We love to do this segment because we talk about sports. We bet sports. I personally bet these games. So I just like giving people and letting them know what I feel like is going on this week and make your picks. So be sure to do that. Let me know what you think about the parlay. If I should change some stuff up. If I'm crazy, let me know. I like to hear all the commentary. All right? Cool. So before we get up out of here, again, the X-Factor Sportz Podcast, we are live on YouTube. Tonight we are on TikTok Live, Twitch, and Facebook. But every week, if you guys have ever tuned in, you know this is the best part of the show for some, for most, I should say. And I actually love doing it too. This is about personal experiences. It's about things that go on in life, you know, throughout the course of my life, whether it's been in sports, whether it's been in business, anything. I do what's called the 2-minute warning. And this is how we end the show. We kind of give y'all a 2-minute thoughts on, you know, life. All right. So this week, I want to get into not being afraid of a breakthrough. Jay, what do you mean by that? Not being afraid of a breakthrough. What I'm saying is not being afraid to take this leap. If you saw on social media, I posted, do you feel like that someone is in a place in life, in a position you feel like you should be in, but the reason you're not there is because they took the leap and you didn't. They acted when you stood still. That's what I want to talk about. You cannot be afraid to take the leap because a breakthrough may be coming, okay? Whatever situation you are in life, if you feel like things are not going well or you're stagnant in whatever position you're in, but there's an opportunity to move forward, you have to be prepared for that opportunity to break through. Opportunities don't come every day. Big opportunities hardly ever come. So when you recognize those opportunities or you prepare for those opportunities and they come, you have to seize them. Otherwise, you're going to have that feeling that somebody else is in your spot that don't deserve it, or somebody's in your spot simply because they took the leap. They may not even be qualified to be in that spot. But because they seized the opportunity, they got it. And then they learned, or they are currently learning in that spot. You can't be mad at them for that. You can only be mad at the person in the mirror because you were too afraid to take that leap. So understand that. If there is opportunity out there, you have to seize it because it could pass you by, or somebody else can get it that's probably less deserving than you. Happens all the time. But because they were not afraid to take that chance, they were rewarded with the opportunity to get better. So keep that in mind. Anything you guys got going on, for my younger viewers, if you're in sports, for anybody that's in business and work, relationships, life, whatever it is, if an opportunity presents itself and you want that opportunity, you cannot be afraid to jump at it. You cannot be afraid to take that leap, right? Shout out to my nephew who drove across country, him and his fiance. They had an opportunity to move, probably scary as hell for them, but the opportunity's there. They can always go back home if it don't work out. But would you rather sit at home and wonder what could have happened if I took that opportunity, or would you rather go out and seize it? All right. Appreciate y'all for tuning in to the X-Factor Sportz Podcast. Again, you can catch us always on YouTube every week, and you can listen to the audio on all audio platforms. X-Factor Sportz Podcast. We are on TikTok. We are on Twitch. We are on YouTube live tonight. So I appreciate all y'all for chiming in. Appreciate the love. Now, anytime y'all want to check out any of the gear, again, you can always click the QR code at the top. You can scan the QR code here for those of you who are watching live on TikTok. If you like the gear, you can DM me. You can get the hat if you want to. We got these in black and gray. We got the sweatshirts. We got hoodies. We got T-shirts. We got all flavors, all shapes and sizes. So be sure to scan the QR code or hit me up direct, and we can get y'all whatever it is you want from the X-Factor Sportz store. All right. Again, I want to thank y'all for tuning in to episode 104 of the X-Factor Sportz Podcast. Next week on 105, we're going to dive deep into the NFL because we will be at the halfway point pretty much. We'll have week 7 out in the books. The NBA is back for all my NBA fans. I ain't forget about y'all. It's an exciting time. We're going to make our preseason, or we're going to make our predictions for the NBA. I'm talking about who we think is going to win MVP, who we think is going to win Defensive Player of the Year. Like, we're going to make those types of predictions before the season even starts so we can come back and see if I was right or not. All right, it's fun for me. And if you think you have some predictions, you can always comment below. You can always comment on social media, and I can bring those up on the show, and I'll shout you guys out if you want to participate. Again, this is Jay Mondana, the X-Factor Sportz Podcast, episode 104. Appreciate y'all for tuning in. We out of here. Peace.